15. The Yunmen incident refers to an incident that occurred in Yunmen Temple, Guangdong in 1951. Several local officials and some young radicals rushed into Yunmen Temple under the pretext of eliminating feudal superstition. These people not only publicly insulted Master Xuyun but also took various cruel means to try to force him to submit. They tied Master Xuyun to a stake and beat him, burned his beard and hair with fire, and even beat his back with an iron stick. At first, they used a wooden stick, and then they used an iron stick, beating Xuyun until he was covered in blood and his ribs were broken. When they did evil, Xuyun sat cross-legged and meditated, closing his eyes and not looking, and closing his mouth, and not speaking. These villains beat Xuyun for times a day, and finally knocked him to the ground. Seeing that he was dying, they thought he would surely die and left. As a result, on March 5th, they found that Xuyun was still alive and beat him again. In the evening, the guarding disciple held Xuyun and sat him on the bed. Xuyun sat cross-legged and meditated, and did not move for a day and a night. The attendant put the lamp grass into Xuyun's nostrils to see if he was still breathing. As a result, the lamp grass did not move at all, and they thought that the old monk had passed away, but he still had a body temperature and his skin color was also natural. The two attendants were guarding, and on the morning of the 8th day, the old monk suddenly groaned slightly. The attendants were very surprised to see that Xuyun was still alive, immediately helped him to sit up, and told the old monk that he had been in meditation for 8 days. Xuyun replied, "I feel that it has only been a few minutes." Then he asked the attendant to take a pen and record his experience during the meditation. The old monk slowly told the attendants, Fayan and others, about his spiritual journey to the Tushita Havanai, the pure land of Maitreya, and listening to Maitreya Buddha's teachings. I dreamed that I went to the Tushita inner court, which was magnificent, not something in the human world. I saw Maitreya Buddha sitting on the throne and preaching the Dharma, and the listeners were numerous. I haven't finished listening to Maitreya Buddha's teachings on consciousness-only meditation, and Maitreya Buddha pointed to me and said, "You go back." I responded, "Disciple, the karma is deep, and I don't want to go back." Maitreya Buddha said, "Your karma is not over, you must go back. Come again later." Xuyun woke up from the brink of death. Despite such inhuman torture, Master Xuyun never gave in. The persecution of Master Xuyun finally stopped due to the extreme pleading of his disciples and the intervention of the higher-ups. When the central government learned the truth of the incident, those who participated in the persecution were dealt with. This incident not only highlighted Master Xuyun's tenacious spiritual strength but also once again revealed the darkness and brutality of Mao Zedong's rule. 16. In the spring of 1936, during the spring precept session at Nanhua Temple, the 16th Regiment commander of the Kaoxi garrison, Lin Guozhang, visited the venerable Master Xuyun, bringing with him a fox with a unique story. The fox had a silver-white, smooth coat, a protruding snout, and a long, fluffy tail, making it quite endearing. Commander Lin recounted the fox's peculiar origin. Initially captured by a hunter in Baiyun Mountain of Guangzhou, it was purchased for 40 yuan by a man named Zhao to be used as a tonic. However, just as Zhao was about to kill the fox, he was moved by its pleading gaze and frequent bowing, deciding instead to send it to the Guangzhou Zoo. Later, Zhao was imprisoned due to circumstances not his fault, and his case was delayed. His wife consulted a diviner to inquire about her husband's misfortune. Before she could draw a divination stick, one was already trembling within the container, indicating that her husband's imprisonment was karmic retribution for imprisoning the white fox. The diviner advised that the fox be released at Nanhua Temple to resolve the issue swiftly. Following this guidance, Zhao's wife redeemed the fox from the zoo and entrusted Commander Lin to release it at Nanhua Temple. Upon hearing this story, Master Xuyun accepted the fox and bestowed upon it the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, then released it into the mountains behind the temple. When hungry, the fox would return to the temple for food, and the monks would provide it with fruits. Remarkably, after Master Xuyun imparted the precepts, the fox ceased to eat meat, preferring fruits instead. If the craftsman at the temple tried to mix meat with the fruits, the fox would spit it out, rub its paws over its mouth several times, and then glare at the craftsman before disappearing into the woods for days. On one occasion, the fox was chased by a villager and swiftly climbed a tree, crying pitifully towards Nanhua Temple. A novice heard the cries and informed Master Xuyun, who rushed to the scene. Upon seeing Master Xuyun, the fox immediately descended and leapt onto his robe, akin to a domestic dog greeting its master. Master Xuyun then brought the fox back to the temple, placing it in a large cage for its safety. It would only move around within the temple grounds and no longer ventured into the forest. One day, when the chairman of the Kuomintang, Chiang Kai-shek, visited Master Xuyun with his entourage, they encountered the fox at the entrance of Kaoxi. An aide attempted to shoot the fox, but Chiang Kai-shek stopped him. The fox then led the way, wagging its tail, and brought Chiang Kai-shek to the main hall before running to Master Xuyun's room, tugging at his robe. After hearing the story of the fox, Chiang Kai-shek laughed and praised its spiritual intelligence. When Master Xuyun meditated, the fox would lie beside him on the meditation couch. If the meditation session was lengthy, the fox would playfully tug at Master Xuyun's beard, signaling him to take a break. Upon opening his eyes, Master Xuyun would admonish the fox to behave, and it would settle down quietly. Tragically, the fox was later injured by a vehicle, dragging its body on the ground, unable to stand. When Master Xuyun came to see it, the fox struggled to show him its injuries. Realizing the fox was beyond help, Master Xuyun compassionately instructed it to let go of its attachment to its body, to repent for past karma, and to focus on reciting the Buddha's name for relief. The fox seemed to understand, nodded its head repeatedly, barked 3 times, and passed away. Master Xuyun provided a coffin and buried the fox according to the monastic rites, laying it to rest at the back of Nanhua Mountain.